Hi everyone, I am Professor Shalini Tarvade from Mechanical Department. Now let's start with next concept of metrology, that is measurements of gears. Okay, we previously has seen gear terminology. Okay, then different types of errors. Okay, now we will see measurements of gear. Okay, basically we will start with spur gear measurement. Okay, as we all know, an analytical inspection of gear consists determining teeth elements which are manufacturing errors may be present. Okay, that are different such as run out, profile, pitch, lead, backlash, which we have already studied. We also have studied about composite errors, concentricity, alignment, and tooth thickness. Okay, we will start with first, that is run out. Okay, what is run out? Run out means eccentricity in pitch circle. Okay, wherever gears that are eccentric tends to have periodic variation in noise. Generally we call that variation in vibration during each revolution. Okay, a bad eccentric tooth may cause interrupt gear failure. This bad eccentric tooth may cause gear failure. Okay, run out is measured by specific probe such as cylinder, ball, cone, rack, or gear tooth. Measurement is made perpendicular to the surface of revolution. A common method of runout inspection is by single probe check. Okay, now we will see the runout in gears is measured by means of gear eccentricity tester. Eccentricity testers are used. The gear is held in mandrel in the center. In the mandrel of tester's gear is held. Okay, the dial indicator of tester poses specific tip depending upon module of gear to be checked. Okay, generally this runout is twice the eccentricity. Okay, if maximum variation is noted from dial indicator, it gives the runout of gear. Okay, a common method of runout inspection is single probe check. Okay, it uses an indicator with single probe whose diameter makes contact with flanges of adjacent teeth in area of pitch circle. Okay, now we will see measurement of pitch. Okay, errors in tooth spacing or pitch of gear may be measured by two methods. Okay, that is measuring the distance from point on one tooth to point on next tooth. Okay, it is called generally step by step method. And second one is measuring position of suitable point on teeth after the gear has been indexed through a suitable angle. It is generally called as direct angle method. Okay, we will see one by one, that is tooth to tooth measurement, tooth to tooth pitch measurement. It is also generally called as step by step measurement. Okay, this method involves measurement of variation in pitch between successive teeths of gear. Here variation in pitch is measured between successive teeths of gear. Okay, and the differences obtained in this way are related to the tooth spacing. Okay, the instrument has three tips. Okay, one is fixed to measuring tip, second is sensitive tip whose position can be adjusted by screw, and third tip is adjustable or guide stop. Okay, now we will move towards next one is profile checking. Okay, in this profile checking we use different methods to check the involute profile of spur gear. Okay, there are two methods, that is optical projection method and involute measuring method. We will see one by one. Number one, optical projection method. In this optical projection method, the profile of gear under test is magnified by using optical lenses. Okay, here we use optical lenses and then that image is projected on screen. Okay, and then after projecting on screen it is compared with master profile. Okay, this method is very quick and suitable for checking profile of small instruments because we are using here optical lenses to obtain the projected image, and it gives us early results. Okay, next one is involute measuring machine. Okay, the main principle of involute measuring machine is if a straight edge is rolled across a base circle without slipping, the styles of dial gauge attached to straight edge would transfer a true involute. Okay, in this method we can say that the gear is held on mandrel and circular disc of same diameter. Okay, in figure we can see the base circle of gear. We can see that gear is held between mandrel and circular disc. Okay, in this method we can obtain accuracy up to 0.002 mm. Okay, by using this involute measuring machine we can obtain accuracy of 0.002 mm. Okay, now we will see next, that is measuring of concentricity. Here we are measuring concentricity. Okay, in measurement of concentricity in setting of gears, the center about which gear is molded should be, it should coincide with center from which the gear is generated. Okay, here variation in reading will be function of eccentricity present. Okay, next one, lead checking. Okay, as we all know, lead is axial advance of helical for one complete turn. Okay, as in threads of cylindrical worms and teeth of helical gear. It we have studied in design of gears. Okay, control of lead is necessary. Why control of lead is necessary? Because to ensure adequate contact across the face with gear and pinion. Okay, so that there is proper mounting with axis parallel and it should be in same plane. Okay, this lead may be checked by lead checking instrument. Here we can use lead checking instrument. The instrument advances a probe along a tooth surface parallel to axis. Okay, when the gear rotates in specific time revolution based on specific lead. Okay, it is checked by lead checking instrument. Actually lead is axial advance of helix for one complete turn. The lead checking instruments are advanced as a probe along a tooth surface parallel to axis when the gear rotates. Okay, next one we will see backlash. What is backlash? Backlash in gear is play between measuring tooth surfaces. It is play between measuring tooth surfaces. It can be defined, we can define backlash as amount by which the tooth space exceeds the thickness of engaging gear. It is nothing but amount of tooth face which exceeds the thickness of engaging gear. Okay, we can obtain numerical values of backlash by measured at tightest point of mesh on pitch circle. Okay, backlash is the distance through which a gear can be rotated to bring its non-working flange in contact with teeth of meshing gear. Okay, there are generally two types of backlashes, that is circumferential backlash and normal backlash. Okay, that is we can determine the desired amount of backlash. Okay, it is difficult to determine the desired amount of backlash. Okay, hence it is recommended that when a designer, suppose a user or a purchaser, includes a reference to backlash in gearing specification, consultants must be arranged with manufacturer, as it is very hard to determine backlash. If a designer or a user includes that reference of backlash in design, then we must take consultant from manufacturer itself. Okay, generally for spur gears the normal backlash is equal to circular backlash. Okay, multiplied by cosine of pressure angle. This is formula for backlash of spur gear. Okay, now we will move towards tooth thickness measurement. What is tooth thickness? Tooth thickness can be defined as length of arc. It is not possible to measure it directly. Tooth thickness cannot be measured directly. Okay, it is generally measured at pitch circle. We can measure tooth thickness at pitch circle. Okay, and hence we can say that pitch line thickness of tooth. Okay, we can obtain pitch line thickness of tooth here. Generally, in most of the common cases, it is sufficient to measure the caudal thickness. Okay, what is caudal thickness? It is chord joining the intersection of tooth profile with pitch circle. Okay, there are various methods by which gear tooth thickness can be measured. We will study few among them. That is gear tooth vernier caliper can be used to measure tooth thickness, which is generally called as caudal thickness method. Then constant chord method, base tangent method, measurement over pins or balls. We will see this one by one. Okay, first we will move towards gear tooth vernier method. Okay, here we uses vernier caliper. Okay, convenient use of vernier caliper is done here. Okay, this gear tooth vernier caliper consists of two perpendicular vernier arms. There are two perpendicular vernier arms. Okay, one vernier, one arm of this vernier is used to measure the thickness of gear, and other vernier arm is used to measure the depth of the depth. Okay, the caliper is so set that if it slides on the top of tooth under test, the lower ends of caliper jaws touches the side of tooth at pitch line. Okay, the reading on horizontal vernier scale shows the caudal thickness. Okay, we can obtain here caudal thickness of gear, and reading on here horizontal reading shows caudal thickness, and vertical scale or vertical vernier shows us caudal addendum. We can obtain the values of caudal addendum, and after obtaining these values we compare them with our calculated values. Okay, this is all about caudal thickness method. Okay, what are advantages and disadvantages of this caudal method or vernier caliper method? Okay, because first we will see disadvantages. The vernier itself is not reliable. Okay, it is itself not reliable. Okay, when it is closer than 0.0 mm. Okay, the measurement depends on two vernier readings, that is horizontal and vertical, each of which is a function of other. They are dependent on one another. Measurement is made with each of measuring jaws. Okay, and not with its face, which again does not lead itself to accurate measurement. We can't obtain here accurate measurement. Okay, advantages: this method is simple and inexpensive. However, it needs different setting for variation in number of teeth for given pitch. Okay, and limitations, as I said, accuracy is limited, wear and tear is more. Then caliper has to be calibrated at regular interval so that accuracy of measuring instrument is maintained. Okay, now we will move towards next method, that is base tangent method. Here we will see base tangent method. Okay, in base tangent method measurement is made by this instrument. Either we use here micrometer with flange anvils or the David Brown tangent comparator. Two instruments can be used here, that is micrometer with flange anvils or David Brown tangent computer. Okay, we will see one of them. Suppose we take David tangent comparator. Okay, this instrument initially consists of fixed anvil and a movable anvil. There are two anvils among which one is fixed and another one is movable. Okay, this diagram shows that there is a micrometer on moving anvil. As we can see, there is micrometer on moving anvil, and it has a very limited moment on either side of reading. There is limited moment, the moment is restricted on either side of setting. Okay, the distance is adjusted by setting the fixed anvil at desired position. Fixed anvil is set at desired position so that distance can be adjusted here. Okay, and this adjustment is made by help of locking ring and setting tubes. Okay, desired position can be done by using locking rings and setting tubes. Okay, now we will see advantages and disadvantages of this method. Advantages: it depends only on one vernier reading. Okay, unlike gear tooth vernier caliper here where two readings are taken, horizontal and vertical. Okay, these measured values of base tangent length is less than compared with calculated value. The difference between calculated value and measured value gives us error in tooth thickness. Error in tooth thickness can be obtained by this method. The number of teeth over which measurement is to be made for particular gear is selected from handbook, gear handbook. We use gear handbook here. Okay, thank you.